Hello, welcome to the Node.js Community Build Workgroup meeting for today's Tuesday, July 11th, 2017. So far we have on the call Jal Grace, Kunal Pathak, Kyle Farning, Michele, Kepra, and Michael Dawson. We don't have any specific issues that have been tagged as workgroup agenda, but we'll still go through an update just to talk about what we've been doing in terms of the build working group work. Before we get started, is there anything that people have to add to the agenda?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. I guess I can start in terms of the stand-up. So basically, the two things I've done, and I can't remember when we last met, what the status on these was, so I'm just going to bear with me if it's a bit of a repeat, but I've gotten a Raspberry Pi 1, which has ARM6, and I've set it up and configured it so that it could act as a backup to our release machine. So far I've got it, it's installed. I set up a local NFS server, and I think it's all configured based on Ansible. What the next step is I need to catch up with Johan to figure out how we do like an SSH tunnel to connect it up to the infrastructure. And then hopefully once we do that, it should be a pretty simple step of adding it in so we have some redundancy for our release ARM6 builds. The other thing I worked on was we did get a Mac donator who's given us some machines. What I managed to do was to spend some time actually installing the different base versions of OS X. So from OS X 10.8 to 10.12. So we have a base machine. Now that's just a vanilla install. And then the next step is to take those and make them accessible to our CI. So we do need to do some setup. Johan had started to set up a DHCP server and a bit of a tunnel so that they could connect out to the outside world. So we need to complete that setup and then start getting the Ansible scripts ready to get them going. So, still working on that as a background task, not as fast as I'd like, but that's one of the other things I have as a priority. And then the third thing is working on adding ZOS machines to our infrastructure, so that we can use them for building with libuv, because libuv already has a port for ZOS, and we can have them building and testing for that on that front. So that's me. I think Michele, you're next up.
Yeah. So I've been focusing mainly on an issue that we were having with the streaming working group. An issue with Ubuntu. So basically the test directory wasn't available in Ubuntu. I raised a PR for it. It seems that I should move my code into another role. I'm just checking with Johan. Then other than that, I kept an eye on issue and just reply on them. Yeah, that's me. Joao?
Hey, oh. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay, so I've created a new Jenkins job to update and reboot Windows machines every day, and it actually checks if there are updates that need a reboot and only reboots if needed. So this is much better than doing it manually as I was doing before, and since this does not reboot if not needed, it runs every day. And I also added the Corn tab entry in all SmartOS workers to clean old core dumps, because the dumps folder was filling up the drive, and we had several workers out of CI because of no space left. So this is done now. So next, Kunal?
Yeah. So I sent out a PR for test V8. Joe helped reviewing it. Thanks, Joe. And he had some comments. I fixed that yesterday. So yeah, if that looks good, then I can merge it in. The other thing we found out was the CC test failure was not analyzed in Windows Jenkins CI job. So now, like I think the PR like there was a CC test
Uh,
failure, and the PR to fix that was checked in yesterday. So I'll just update the Jenkins CI job to analyze CC test failures on Windows. Uh,
you will update the job now?
Yes, yeah, I partially updated it and then realized like the CC test is still failing in the upstream, so I just left it. But I left a
Okay.
note. Yeah,
One issue about that, make sure to update it in a way that it fails if there is no CC test tab file.
right.
Because before there was only, I think it was test.tab, and
Uh-huh.
the job failed if the file was not there.
Okay.
So I also noticed in some other workers it was just an asterisk. So any file would be parsed, but if there was no file, the job would pass. And
I see.
we want to avoid that. We want to fail if either of the files is not there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll take note.
Okay.
Kyle?
So, sorry. So I was working on the FreeBSD Clang upgrade. It got blocked on the fact that V8 version 6 only builds under 3.8.1 of Clang. It's sort of to be determined as to why, and whatever issue exists doesn't exist in 6.1 for some reason. So it's kind of, I'm not sure what the next steps are for that. It seems like, I think the last update, they were suggesting that we could try figuring out the difference between the two and figure out why it isn't building under 3.4 versions of Clang.
Does V8 not build with Clang normally? Is that or not that version, I guess?
Their minimum supported version is 3.4.2, which is why the original request was to update it to that.
Right.
But during my experimentation, at least on FreeBSD, 3.4.2 and 3.5.2 both have the same issue. And just for the heck of it, since it was easy enough, I did 3.8.1, which is the same version that FreeBSD 11 uses, or approximately the same version. That one does build, so it's the older versions of Clang that are, and maybe specifically FreeBSD, that are segfaulting. Yeah, so there's probably more investigation to do. I can follow up on the issue and just see. I think Targos was the most recent person to reply. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I've got, Joao.
Joel, did you already go? Because I remember the no.
No. Sorry. What?
We're back to you, I think, in the stand up, but
Oh no. I I already spoke.
that I thought, okay. So is everybody's gone at this point?
Yes.
Okay. A couple things that I remembered while people were talking that I'll mention. One is I did open an issue with a candidate tweet thanking our donators. We want to send something out like monthly or so. I see a couple people chimed in there, but I think now might be a good time since we have a few people who haven't. If you can pull up issue number 771 and just have a quick read through. Let me know if you think that looks fine, because I think I'll plan to move ahead with that. And the idea is the foundation account will tweet that out on a regular basis so that we have one more concrete thing we can point to in terms of the benefits that our donators get. I agree with Michaela with your comment that it'd be nice to say more, and I did try, but the limit sort of fits in.
It was the same for me. I tried many times to fit something meaningful in that charters, but then I ended up saying that's the basic information.
Yeah, our only other option would be doing something like pointing to a blog or something like that where we could say a bit more, but it's probably worthwhile just starting with a direct pointer to what we already have and then improve it as we go.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So for anybody else on the call who's opened it up, any other comments, or does it sort of look good?
It looks good to me as well.
Okay, great. The other thing I'll mention too is there was also some discussion with a second Mac donator, so we may end up getting some resources from a couple different providers, which is great. Give us some redundancy. I think we're now at the point where we've got enough that we're the bottleneck in terms of getting them set up and going, unfortunately, but that's probably much better than we were a few weeks ago. So I guess at that point, any other issues or things people want to bring up? Otherwise, we're probably done for this time.
Yeah, I have. Since this test once this test V8 thing gets merged, maybe I'm open for any other items that want me to take over. I can sync with Joe to see if there is anything I can help.
That sounds good. I'd also look through just the list of issues that are open.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think there's quite a few things of things that people are talking about in there that are probably good to help out with. If not, certainly raise an issue saying, hey, you're looking for something, because if there isn't something already good there, we'll find something concrete.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it then. So thanks for everybody for showing up, and we'll talk to you all next time.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And for those on the watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask for questions. I think it's too late, but I'll try and make sure we do that next time. And again, sorry about that.